Coming up, we'll recap the last Padres game, preview today's starting pitching matchup, give you our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today, the Padres take on the Cleveland Guardians in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Guardians, left-hander Joey Cantillo, and for the Padres, an opener today, left-hander Wandy Peralta. Hi, good everybody. Sam Levitt with you from inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 4:10 p.m. here on the West Coast on what is a gorgeous Saturday here in America's finest city. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen. We hear from Padre pitcher Mason Miller. We hear from Guardians catcher and former San Francisco Giant Patrick Bailey. We check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. in just a few minutes and much, much more. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today the hottest team in baseball at 66-57. Padres have won 6 in a row and 16 of their last 20 games. Padres looking for their first 7-game win streak since April. We'll see if they can do that here today. Guardians are going in the opposite direction. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games and 16 of their last 21 games. They entered today at a record of 59-64. However, even with that, the Guardians still just a game and a half back of a wild card spot in the American League. Well, the Padres began this 3-game series and a 6-game road trip yesterday at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Let's quickly rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Padres down early. They were trailing 3-0 going to the 4th inning. There was a runner on base in the 4th inning for the X-Man.
Here's the 0-1. And Bogaerts hits it in the air deep to left field, way back and gone. About halfway up the seats in left. A long home run for Xander Bogaerts. His 11th of the year as he clears the wall for a second consecutive game. And just like that, a 1-run game.
Padres still down 3-2 going to the 5th inning. That did not last long. Fernando Tatis Jr. led off against Cleveland starter Gavin Williams.
Fernando Tatis Jr. will swing at the first pitch. Hits it in the air, deep down the left field line, and gone, a home run. Fernando has tied it up. A laser beam over the 19-foot wall in left. And it's 3-3 here in the 5th.
Tatis hitting that one at nearly 116 miles per hour off the bat. Padres not done in the 5th inning. Jake Cronenworth singled. Manny Machado singled. Ty France walked. That loaded the bases with 1 out for Luis Campusano.
Now 2-1, and Campusano hits it on a line to right field and deep. DeLauder going back, still going back. This one off the wall. Cronenworth will score. Machado's right behind him. The relay to the plate is not in time. A 2-run double for Campusano. Clouds with their first lead of the night, 5-3 here in the 5th.
Padres still up 5-3 going to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Michael King gave up a run to make it 5-4, but in the top of the 7th, it was Campy who struck again.
First pitch swinging in the air up the right field line. DeLauder all the way at the wall, jumps up, can't make the catch. Hangs against the wall, rolls back towards the infield. France is on his way home. The throw to the plate is cut. It's an RBI double and a 6-4 lead.
Padres added another run on a sac fly from Xander Bogaerts. Later in the inning, they led 7-4. Yuki Matsui pitched a scoreless 7th inning. Jeremiah Estrada allowed a run in the 8th inning. That made it 7-5. Padres wanted to give Mason Miller an off day, so they turned to the young right-hander Bradley Rodriguez for the save opportunity in the 9th inning. Bradley got it done.
2-2 to Angel Martinez. The pitch taken right down the middle. Strike 3 called. 99 from Bradley as he collects his first career save, and the Pods have won their 6th consecutive game. 7-5 over the Guardians here in Cleveland.
Padres winning a 6th in a row. They start the road trip on a high note, and now we see if the Padres can keep it rolling on this Saturday evening in Cleveland. Let's go out to the Midwest.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Tony, this Padres offense continues to be simply spectacular. They fall behind early yesterday. No big deal. They tie it, take a lead. Bullpen does the rest. We'll get to the bullpen here in a second. But, Tony, what do you make of what this offense continues to do? I mean, to me, it is truly remarkable who they were before late June, early July, and who they've been since then. It is an amazing turnaround.
Yeah, I would say that at least in the most simplified way, it's Toddy, Manny, and Jackson all heating up, which changes the way an opposing pitcher is going to navigate the lineup when those three guys are hot. There's just landmines as you kind of navigate it. I think from a more kind of detailed position, I think this offense is really finding its level. Honestly, I think what we saw at the beginning was so out of the ordinary for what these guys had normally done. This seems about what we expected in the beginning, and I just think it speaks to these guys' ability to just keep turning the page, keep pushing forward. Now all of a sudden everybody's clicking, and you could just feel it in doing these games. This team is they believe no matter what the score right now, they're gonna put some runs on the board.
Tony, let's talk a little bit about the bullpen yesterday. Another good example of just how good this bullpen is, not just Morahone and Miller at the back end, but really top to bottom. How great these guys have been. Bradley Rodriguez picking up his first major league save, just another feather in his cap in what has been a tremendous year for a guy that's still only 22 years old. Tony, I don't know that you and I have talked about Bradley a ton. We really should. What do you make of what this kid continues to do?
I mean, it aligns with the rest of the arms that kind of fit in that back end. I think overall, like we've talked about the Padres having this deep bullpen, but this is the time of year where that actually gets tested, right? It's one thing to say you have arms and to have guys who can pitch with the higher velocities, but when you get into those roles where you got to actually slide into a setup role or slide into a closer role, the ball game changes a little bit. But that is the true definition to me of having a deep bullpen. When you have your big guys out, last night it was Morahone, it was Miller. Do you have guys that can step in and look and play the role? And last night was a great example of why this bullpen is actually as deep as everyone says it is.
Tony, another element to the deep bullpen is that I think it gives the Padres a little bit more latitude to do what they're doing today, which is starting Wandy Peralta. You would assume that we'll see Randy Vasquez at some point in this game. Randy has been much, much better last 4 or 5 outings or so. To you, Tony, assuming we see Randy in this one, I think we will. What's been the difference for Randy Vasquez lately?
I think there's been a couple of things. I think the offense has given him more support. He's coming in a lot of these games and having a lead. That's just not something he had early. He was having to kind of walk the tightrope, and if he wasn't on it, it could be problematic for the Padres. And so I just think Randy's been able to be on the attack. He's been better staying out of the middle of the plate. And I think it's resulted in him starting to build his confidence back up to where we saw it early in the season when he was one of the better started pitchers in the rotation.
Tony, let's finish with this. Jesse and I had the conversation pregame yesterday about Luis Campusano, and then he goes out, has a couple of huge doubles, 3 more RBIs. He is right now, quite simply, one of the better hitting catchers in the game. I mean, smaller sample size because of his injuries this year, but he is absolutely in that conversation with the way he's swinging the bat. I mean, this is such an interesting, fascinating story considering what he went through last year. They showed a ton of confidence in him, even going back to spring training. He was essentially given a spot, before the season began, and he has run with it. What do you make of this season to this point for Luis Campusano when he's been in there?
To me, it's not a surprise. I think it's a really good lesson of what can happen when you pour into somebody. I think Campy, for a large portion of his stay here in San Diego, wasn't necessarily given the opportunity to go out and fail. I think in past, if he had a month like he had early this season, he'd have been down in AAA. But Craig Stammen, from the very beginning of this season, before we ever saw a swing from Luis Camposano, he poured into him. He gave him the confidence that, hey, don't worry about going out and making a team. Just go out and get yourself ready. And I think he is benefited. These are things that I think this organization has always thought Campy could do.
Yeah.
I think it's just taken Craig Stammen and his staff to kind of pour into him a little bit. And this is what the results you're getting.
Yeah, credit to Craig and his staff, because it was very clear, even in spring training, that he was going to be given every opportunity to have success at the major league level, and he has done that this year. And interestingly enough, today he is DHing today with Freddie Fermin doing the catching. Tony, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, that is Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 4:10 p.m. When we come back, we'll take our first full look at the Padres lineup here today. We'll also hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen. A little bit later, hear from Mason Miller, and Pedro Gutierrez goes one-on-one with former Giant catcher and today's catcher for the Guardians. That is Patrick Bailey. Much more to do on our pregame coverage. We continue after this. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 4:10 p.m. Padres looking for another win here today. It would be a 7th consecutive win. Padres come in having won 16 of their last 20 games. Our pregame coverage, as always, brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. Couple of notes here before we hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen. Number one, Joe Musgrove did throw in another rehab game yesterday in El Paso for the Padres AAA affiliate, stretched out to 70 pitches across 4 2/3 innings. As far as results go, was not the smoothest start. He did give up 5 runs on 9 hits, including a home run against AAA Salt Lake, the Salt Lake Bees. But you know what? In the PCL, and especially in the midst of a rehab assignment, who cares what the results were? The pitch count, 70, 4 2/3 innings, very good. And from what you could tell based on the radar gun readings, velocity, very, very good, impressive for Joe Musgrove. He actually touched 97 in the game yesterday, which would be quite a bit harder than Joe was throwing before he was injured. So that's really, I think, what's interesting from the start. But obviously with Joe right now, it is very, very much about how he feels and how he recovers, and it does seem like things continue to go well. Hopefully Joe is back very, very soon on the mound at Petco Park and with the Padres. Let's take a look at the Padres lineup here today. Looks like this: Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off, Jake Cronenworth at second base batting second, Manny Machado at third base batting third, Ty France at first base batting cleanup, Jackson Merrill in center field batting fifth. Luis Campusano is, Excuse me, I am actually looking at the lineup from yesterday. I think it's actually the same from that was silly. From yesterday. Okay, here's the right one. I pulled up the wrong document here. Okay, here we go. Actually, it's the same. I would have been fine had I continued on here. Anyway, let's just do it one more time. Oops. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, Jake Cronenworth at second base batting second, Manny Machado at third base batting third, Ty France at first base batting cleanup, Jackson Merrill batting fifth in center. Luis Campusano is indeed in the sixth spot. He's DHing today. Austin Hayes in left field batting seventh, Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting eighth, and Freddie Fermin is doing the catching and batting ninth with left-hander Wandy Peralta on the mound for the Padres. He will open today's game. I would imagine a pretty good chance we'll see Randy Vasquez for a while in this game as well. As we get ready for this one, now that I've got you the right lineup on this Saturday, let's go to Cleveland and hear from the Padres skipper.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
What's it like being back in Ohio as a manager? First time, right? Has it been fun? A lot of family?
Yeah, a lot of family, a lot of friends. It's always good to do things coming back home and be able to share this experience with them. So a lot of smiles, a lot of hugs.
Yeah, and I guess nice to have the off day also catch up with some people.
Yeah, exactly. We got to catch up with some of my best friends and get to play golf with them. And, it's nice when we win yesterday, get to celebrate a win with everybody also. So just a good homecoming.
Speaking of that win yesterday, how impressed have you been with your offense? Obviously, the numbers are there. They're hitting fastballs better. But the way that they have been able to force opposing pitchers to sort of change their game plan or get away from their strengths, that doesn't happen very often. What have you seen with that?
Yeah, I think you're always, every time that we game plan for a pitcher, we want to be able to predict kind of how they're going to attack us, and then we got to be ready for that attack, and then hopefully that forces the pitcher into a second game plan, plan B or plan C, and then we've just got to adjust to that. So it just speaks to how well we're hitting right now, how good at bats everybody's taking. And I think the biggest thing is we've been down a few games here lately in this good stretch of baseball, and these guys have stuck with the plan and be able to get runs in the middle of the game to kind of flip the script. Yesterday was a prime example of that.
Yeah, I think stay with that just for a second. The comeback wins. Obviously, you don't want to have to be coming back, but to your point, you guys have been able to do it. Is that a big part of it?
Yeah, I think they're just believing that, we give us 9 innings of trying to score runs. That gives us a better chance of outscoring the opponent. If you just think of it as, hey, we got to score in these first 5 innings, it eliminates the back 4. We look at it as the whole game, trying to put up runs in every single inning, and put up as many as we can, and then believe in our pitching, that'll take care of the rest.
Going back to the changing opposing pitcher's game plan, you so succinctly described how you can do it. It's not as easy as that all the time. From your experience as a pitcher, how often did you feel like you actually faced a lineup that was able to change your game plan? I would imagine it wasn't too often.
Yeah, I only had one game plan, so it either worked or it didn't. It's notorious for either getting out of innings quick or giving up runs quickly. That was just the way it was. A guy like last night, for him to not use his four-seam fastball as much as he did is a testament to how well these guys do play.
I guess the point is usually pitchers are in the driver's seat, but you guys have been able to.
Yeah, you're right. Pitchers are in the driver's seat, and it's how it's going to be, 9 out of 10 times. But every once in a while, if we can get a good starter to go against his game plan and he's going to have to be uncomfortable out there doing something in a way that he's not accustomed to.
Yeah. The way their roster is constructed with all the lefties and the switch hitters going with Wandy today, why was he the best choice for that? I guess Kyle Hart could have been an option. Obviously, Randy Vasquez could have been an option, and maybe we'll still see those guys over the course of the game. But why was Wandy the best selection today?
Yeah, I felt Wandy's been very good in this opener role, and felt good about him getting us off to a good start in this game.
Can you tell us about Joe? We saw the box score, but what update can you give us in terms of how he felt, how he threw the ball, how he's feeling today?
Yeah, I don't quite know how he's feeling today, but he was very positive about the start yesterday. Showed some good velocity, showed all his pitches, was able to get to 70 pitches. Very positive outing for him, in the way he felt during the game and right after the game.
Yeah. Nick's bullpen went well as far as you know?
Yeah, as far as I know, everything, went well a couple days ago, and he's still throwing and still rehabbing.
A lot of references during the year to back to the baseball cards. Now that the numbers have moved in that direction, how rewarding is it for players and for you knowing that trust is going to be up?
Yeah, I think we believed in our players, and we believed in the success that they've had in the past, and we believed in the work that they put in leading up to the season. So, we knew that eventually their talent would come forward, and right now we're seeing some of that talent.
What are your considerations when you decide you're going to have both your pitchers in the starting lineup? Like a tiny bit of risk that something could go wrong, and we'll see Ty France or something, but
yeah,
or you have to pitch, your pitcher or just double switch all the time. What are the considerations?
Yeah, I think the risk is really just the health. If Freddie has something that happens to him early in the game, then you've got to manage the game the old National League old school wise, where you get the pitcher in the spot and try to pitch it, and double switch and all that kind of stuff.
And clearly you're just like, can't be hitting. This is our best chance today.
Yeah, I think it's just, we'll see how it goes. And then just determine if this is something we want to keep doing going forward with both the catchers in the lineup the same day. And, it won't be an everyday thing, but every once in a while maybe.
Is it the kind of situation where you might use one of the extra roster spots in September 1st then to bring up a third catcher?
Possibly. That's such a long ways away. It's not going to be my decision who we bring up. It'll be the organization decision, and most ultimately AJ's. So I don't even know what date it is today, but whenever September 1st comes, that decision will be made. He's got good pitches. He's got a good fastball, plays higher than his velocity. He's worked on a really good breaking ball. They didn't really have him when I remember him with the Padres, but he's always had the good changeup. So he's got some interesting pitches and good characteristics, and he's a competitor.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Craig on our post-game coverage coming up later on this evening. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming your way at 4:10 p.m. from Cleveland as the Padres look for a 7th consecutive win. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing. a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
Now, the Padres have a lot of guys locked in right now. Let's begin with Jackson Merrill. His last 25 games, batting .365 with 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 1107 OPS in that span. Fernando Tatis Jr., his last 26 games, batting .293 with 8 home runs, 21 RBIs, and a 1018 OPS in that span. Ty France, batting .356 with 19 extra base hits, including 9 home runs, 27 RBIs, and a 1017 OPS in his last 41 games. France has 4 consecutive multi-hit games. He has 15 multi-hit games since the All-Star break, the most in the majors in that span. France also, how about this? Slugging .528 this year. It's the highest slugging percentage by a Padres first baseman since Adrian Gonzalez slugged .551 in 2009. That's with a minimum of 300 plate appearances. So Ty France has been incredible for this team back in the cleanup spot here today. How about today's DH, Luis Campusano? He is 6 for 11 in his last 3 games with a home run and 7 RBIs. As far as the not category, Gavin Sheets not in the lineup today. He'll be available off the bench. He's really struggling, hitting .122 in his last 74 at-bats, although did have a single in last night's win. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not, as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game set coming up in Cleveland. Well, if you were not paying attention to the Cubs-Cardinals game today, you really missed something. Let's tell you more about it as we go around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Well, we told you yesterday that the Cardinals were calling up one of their top prospects, outfielder Joshua Baez. He showed up to Wrigley Field today, and in his first 3 major league at-bats, including the very first pitch he saw as a big leaguer, 3 home runs. He was 3 for 3 with 3 home runs, 1 to left center, 1 to left, and 1 to right. The first player in Major League history to hit 3 home runs in his Major League debut, and again, he did it in his first 3 at-bats. I was watching the second and third at-bats. It was truly remarkable, amazing to watch. So Joshua Baez, Major League history today, 3 home runs in his Major League debut, and he did it in his very first 3 at-bats. Some other updates for you. Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge played catch and ran yesterday in New York as he continues working toward a return from a broken right rib. The Blue Jays putting 6-time All-Star Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the 7-day IL today because of concussion symptoms. Dodgers came away encouraged after Shohei Ohtani through his first bullpen session in more than 3 weeks yesterday. He has not pitched since early July. We forgot to mention this yesterday. I meant to, and it slipped my mind. The All-Star game, it was announced yesterday, returning to San Francisco in 2028. The Midsummer Classic will be at Oracle Park, the first time that San Francisco has hosted the All-Star game since 2007. The Nationals have said that they are moving their All-Star shortstop, former Padre C.J. Abrams, to second base, vacating the only position he's played during his 5 seasons with the Nationals. Nationals manager Blake Butera saying yesterday that Abrams has begun working out at second base, probably because he commits a lot of errors at shortstop. Also, Nationals have some guys coming up through the system, could play shortstop. So a little bit of news there. C.J. Abrams will, in the late part of this season, transition into being a second baseman. And finally, remember how we didn't see Brewer right-hander Abner Uribe at all in that series earlier this week? Well, he was put on the IL with a forearm flexor strain. MRI did not show a serious injury, but still, pretty big blow for that Brewer bullpen. And that's a look at some of our headlines from around the major leagues. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way in just a little bit. When we come back, we'll hear from Mason Miller. We'll also hear from Guardians catcher Patrick Bailey. Much, much more to do as we bring you up towards first pitch at 4:10 in Cleveland. Padres looking for a 7th straight win on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 4:10 in Cleveland. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in just about 17 minutes. They'll come your way with the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. Let's tell you about one sort of, I would say, interesting situation on the Guardians side of things. A guy who is back in the lineup for the Guards here today, but I think injury has played a part in what's been going on with him lately. Let's tell you more about it.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Admittedly, this is not usually what we do with the injury report, but I do think it's the way to go about it today. We already told you about Joe Musgrove rehab outing yesterday at AAA El Paso, 70 pitches. You know that Nick Pivetta threw a bullpen on Thursday. Still no timetable on when he will make another rehab start. Jason Adam has started throwing plyo balls. Maybe he's getting close to playing catch. We've given you those updates the last day or two. What I want to focus on here today on the injury report, Jose Ramirez, Guardians third baseman, terrific player, perennial all-star. He had left hamate bone surgery at the start of, well, I should put it this way. He had left hamate bone surgery earlier this summer. And since returning on July 22nd, he has really really struggled. He's batting 197 in 18 games, and he has not had an extra base hit in what seems like forever. This has been a totally different player since coming back from the hamate injury. He got a day off yesterday, not because really of injury, but just because they wanted to give him a day off because he's been struggling so badly. Ramirez back in the lineup for the Guardians today, so that's something to watch in today's game. What kind of game do we see from Jose Ramirez, who has been struggling really badly since returning from the hamate bone surgery earlier this summer? And that's a quick little different look at our injury report on this Saturday. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Well, let's first take a look at the games going on right now. Nationals lead the Mets 4-3 in New York in the ninth inning. Orioles ahead of the Rays 1-0 in Tampa Bay in the third. Marlins and Reds are scoreless. They are just underway in the first inning in Cincinnati. Same for the Phillies and Twins. They are just getting underway right now in Minnesota. Games that have gone final already today. White Sox beat the Tigers 4-3 in Detroit. The Cardinals beat the Cubs 8-4 in Chicago. We told you about that. Joshua Baez in his major league debut, the first player to ever hit 3 home runs in his major league debut. Blaze Jordan, Alec Burleson also hitting home runs in that game for St. Louis. Blue Jays beat the Yankees 4-1 in Toronto. Giants beat the Rockies earlier today 7-1 in San Francisco. Drew Gilbert a home run in that game for the Giants. Games yet to begin aside from this one. Mariners and the Astros in Houston at 4:10. Red Sox and the Pirates at 4:15 in Pittsburgh. D-backs and the Braves in Atlanta at 4:15. Brewers and the Dodgers in LA at 4:15. Royals and the Angels at 6:38 in Anaheim. And finally, later on this evening, Rangers and the A's in Sacramento at 6:40. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll have more on most of those games a little bit later for you on our post-game coverage. Well, Patrick Bailey is a name that you should be very familiar with. Played quite some time with the San Francisco Giants, was traded to Cleveland earlier this season. Bailey, a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, came up with the Giants in 2023, won Gold Gloves in 24 and 25, began the year with San Francisco, did not hit much at all, and then got traded to Cleveland. Has never been a huge big offensive player, but certainly a serviceable major league catcher. And as you know, a very, very good defender as well behind the plate. Padres Spanish language radio broadcaster Pedro Gutierrez caught up with the former Giant and current Guardian Patrick Bailey earlier inside the Guardians clubhouse.
We're joined today by multiple-time Gold Glover, National League, and the American League. Patrick Bailey with us here today. Patrick, thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Patrick, in terms of the current status of the Guardians as we get into the final stretch for this 2026 season, just in general, the team is in contention, fighting for a playoff spot. Just in general, how has the team been working, knowing that every single piece of the puzzle of this roster is working together towards that one goal of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, we're in the hunt for a playoff spot here in mid-August, and we haven't been playing our best ball as of late, but it takes one swing, one ball to roll our way to kind of get rolling. We I think really believe in the pieces that we have here and got better at the deadline. So again, I think we're pretty optimistic here moving forward.
From here in particular, it's tough to work with the new pitching staff when it seems. I would imagine it's much more harder to do it on the fly in the run, where there's not really much margin forever when you do it in a trade mid-season. How have you been able to adapt, particularly to this pitching staff, knowing that A, it's very talented, B, it's for the most part, it's a very young pitching staff. However, with your leadership and your veteran experience, being able to guide the pitching staff right now through the season?
Yeah, I mean, it probably took me, 4 to 8 weeks, depending on, each pitcher. But, finally feel comfortable. It's a great organization. Obviously, working with Hedges has been awesome. And I feel like that process was easier than probably expected, but obviously it still had its challenges.
And for your part in particular, I know baseball is a team sport, but it's based on several individualities that each field brings. How proud of you are the fact that you've been, selected a Gold Glove a couple of times. You're well respected, but working with pitchers and just knowing that craft behind the plate has brought you a lot of success to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I take a lot of pride in for sure. Every asset of the game brings value to the team, and it's something that I've been fortunate to kind of bring to the table. And catching's a fun one because not only is there individual stuff, but you're obviously working a lot with pitchers, and at the end of the day, you're just trying to get the best out of them and be there for them.
At the end of the day, like when the player reaches the majors, it's a hard journey. It's a long process. However, it's very rewarding. However, that just seems to be like the easy part when you compare it to the other part that you've been able to work on to have a long and successful career in the majors. Time gives it to you, talent, and a lot of several variables that go into that equation. However, for you, what can you identify have been the keys to that sustained success here in the majors to carve out this pretty impressive career?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been my defense for sure. Obviously, catcher's position that's usually defensive first, and it's something I take a lot of pride in. And the offensive side, just trying to continue to work to put together better at-bats.
That was Guardians catcher Patrick Bailey. He will start behind the plate today for Cleveland. Big thank you, as always, to Padres Spanish language radio broadcaster Pedro Gutierrez for chatting with Bailey earlier inside the Guardians clubhouse. First pitch coming up at 4:10 in Cleveland. Let's give you our Padres keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
Key number 1, Crush Cantillo. Guardians lefty Joey Cantillo, originally drafted by the Padres in 2017. He was part of the package that went to Cleveland in the deal that brought Mike Clevenger to San Diego in August of 2020. Cantillo threw just one inning against the White Sox on Sunday before a 2+ hour rain delay cut his start short. Cantillo has allowed 15 runs, 12 earned in 5 starts since the All-Star break. That's a 5.79 ERA. Opponents batting .341 against Cantillo in that span. Before that, he had put together a 6-start stretch where he was really good. 1.59 ERA. This will be his second career outing against the Padres. Faced them in relief last year in San Diego. Gave up 3 runs, 1 earned in 2 innings. Key number 2, Randy continuing to roll. We imagine we'll see Randy Vasquez at some point here today. Wandy Peralta will open the game for the Padres with the lefties at the top of the lineup for Cleveland. Last 6 outings for Randy, a 2.05 ERA in 22 innings, 5 innings of 2-run ball against the Astros last weekend. That followed 6 scoreless innings against the D-backs. And key number 3, keep Kwan off base. Steven Kwan's last 27 games for the Guardians, their leadoff man. He's hitting .394 with 8 RBIs and 15 runs scored. Padres did pretty good job against Kwan yesterday. Let's see if they can do it again here today in game 2 of this 3-game set. And that's a look at our keys to today's game. When we come back, we hear from Mason Miller. That comes your way after this. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in under 5 minutes. Well, yesterday, Bradley Rodriguez picking up his first career save in the major leagues. Mason Miller getting a day off. Much deserved for Mason Miller. Here was Mason talking about Bradley, what he's done in this incredible season for the 22-year-old.
I mean, his stuff is amazing, like so many pitchers in this game now. But, I think what's helped him take the next step is guys like Wandy and, just like we kind of talked about, being amongst a group of guys that have a lot of success. Success is contagious. But, just his ability to learn and, even if, he has an outing where it doesn't necessarily go the way that he wants, it's not an empty outing. That's what separates people, is learning from your mistakes and, not being the same guy and expecting different results, like being willing to adapt and change and continue to be unpredictable. But yeah, I mean, from the jump this year, he's been amazing.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in Game 2 of this 3-game series? Do we see another bogey blast today? Xander Bogaerts has long home runs in back-to-back games. One at Petco Park on Wednesday, one in Cleveland last night. That comes after a 25-game homerless drought for the X-Man. So can Xander make it 3 home runs in 3 games? We'll find out. It's been a great thing to see. Xander Bogaerts, the power as of late. As always, we appreciate you tuning in to our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Well, the Padres going for their 7th consecutive win. The Pods, the hottest team in the game right now. When we come back, we send things out to Cleveland, Ohio. Jesse Ackler, Tony Gwynn Jr. standing by, ready to go. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. See ya.